Hello! Hi and welcome back to more Game Roulette with me, Dozero. We're playing Hidden Agenda. And we're now in the harvest season. Let's go see our reports. Military expenses. Oh boy. Okay, well, the foreign aid from the US has completely dried up. That's bad. And our military spending is just going down. We are going to need to get some aid from the USSR. Social spending. We're spending a lot of money on our food right now. We're going to take care of healthcare, education, and infrastructure. But we can't bankrupt the country. Infant mortality is just as bad. Land distribution. We're selling off, again, all the estates from the Presidente. That's pretty good. I don't like how the wealthiest 5% are getting more and more land, though. That's not ideal. Food crop. Our production is still going down. Production of food. But we're now below 50% of our population starving. We're making a little bit more money out of coffee and cotton. Oh, our currency reserve are going up. That's good. That's from selling all that coffee. But our debt is also increasing, but not very hard. Loan and aid. Let's go see the news. The Marxist true believers seem to think that since Jesus could multiply loaves and fishes, their God will do the same for them. For the rest of us, it's clear that these subsidies will produce no miracles. Okay. Caught between the interests of the urban poor and the interests of the rural poor, the government initially chose to favor the former. Certain to action by recent protests, however, the government has attempted to redress this balance by offering the campesino a guaranteed price for their crops. No sooner was the notorious murderer Roberto Blowtorch Padilla arrested than his cronies in the army managed to get him released, claiming there was insufficient evidence to prosecute. The new government seemed to be taking on some of the worst characteristics of the old. Oh my god, that's bad. All right, so we need to go check the USSR. Actually, let's go talk to the Cuban Council. To win a ball game, the council says, Riley, you must practice both your fielding and your batting. I would advise close attention to your defense need. If you can possibly avoid incurring the wrath of the United States, more power to you. Both your history and ours, however, cast doubt on the wisdom of putting much faith in that possibility. The Cuban Revolution stands ready to coach Chimerica in its efforts to win the right to follow its own destiny. Accept military aid from socialist countries. Oberon doesn't want us to get military assistance from the socialist nation. That, like, if we get assistance from the socialists, it's gonna piss off the U.S. They're gonna send death squads. We can't piss off the U.S. We just can't. We're gonna just keep. Yeah. Good, done. All power to the revolution, Consul Guzman says, shaking your hand vigorously. Your international friends will support you all the way, but remember, revolution is more than bright banners and proud talk. It is the sweat of hard work, the blood of sacrifice, and the tears of the mothers of those who died defending it. Look to the people, Presidente, marshal their support, and you cannot fail. Ready to give a side bow? Be assured, Presidente, that the loyal officials of our ministry will warmly welcome the news of this decision. Oh, God. Workers seized land throughout the cotton-producing district, provoking violent clashes with owners. Thousands massed before the palace, demanding immediate title to seize land. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Claudio Aguilar speaks for the Land Now movement. Whoa. The time for waiting is over, Aguilar says, waving his hand before you can speak. Once I had a deaf old mule. To make her notice me, I had to make much noise, beat her with a stick, and wave my arms like a madman. That is why we are here below the windows of your palace, Presidente Mule. Whoa! Grant title immediately to land seized by the poor. You can't just grab land and call it yours. No, yeah. We're going to decree a land reform designed to pacify the countryside. Impatient peasants have seized land belonging to large landowners throughout the cotton-growing district. This cannot continue. Allowing everyone who wants land to seize it would mean chaos. If we don't put a halt to this illegal seizure now, everyone will suffer. I agree. No. We decree a land reform, but you can't just grab whatever you want. Smile come to Aguilar's weather-worn face. My Presidente, your words fall on my ears like the first rains of the earth on the earth at the end of the dry season. We will pray for you. Okay. Okay. Trade union. All right, let's go talk to the doctor and the teacher. Like we need to sort this out right now. Send our own death squad to the USA. Yeah. All right, Dr. Judith Escobar de Royce. Rural health clinic. One physician, 3 healthcare workers to serve a population of 12,000. All right. Presidente, for decades this nation has ignored the healthcare needs of all but the wealthy few. Children die of measles, of malaria, of diseases easily prevented with proper sanitation. Many rural areas have no doctors, no nurses, no medicines, no medical service at all. It is surprising, then, that we have one of the highest level of infant mortality in the hemisphere. We must build clinics in small villages throughout the country with people trained to run them. We must begin at once. Okay. And Julio agrees. Medical care in this country is a disgrace. Here, the rich can afford private doctors and fly off to Mexico or the USA whenever they need to see a specialist. Meanwhile, the poor die of easily preventable disease. We must build community clinics throughout the nation, but especially in rural areas where the need is greatest. Creating a primary healthcare system must be a top priority for truly revolutionary government. I agree. Escobar gathers up her papers and smile. I am pleased to see, Presidente, that our government has a clear sense of priorities. The people of Chimerica, thank you. We have taken up our cross. Now let us carry it and work to find some way to lighten the burden of those many crosses we have forced on others. Yeah, we're building basically the NHS equivalent, or Medicare. I don't even know. I don't even know what we call it in Canada. Just service de santé, like whatever. It's just free healthcare. Assurance santé, is that what, like, medical insurance? I don't know what they call it in English Canada. I know what they call it in French Canada, but anyway, we're gonna go talk to the teacher, and then we're gonna try to make more money. Like, once we've dealt with those local issues, we need to make money, like, because these things are gonna cost a lot. Leticia Azurdia de Granados. Open air school. Total students at time of insurrection, 500,000. Number of teachers, 12,000. We have 1,000,000. So only half the people are in school. A bit less than half of the students, of the children, are in school. We don't have a lot of teachers. Like, really not a lot of teachers. Like 50 students per teacher. All right. Presidente, half the population of our nation cannot read. Fewer still can't even write their names. But is this so surprising when the vast areas of our countryside contain no teacher and no schools at all? For too long we have neglected the needs of our children. We must establish schools and hire teachers to build our country's future. Let us begin at once. Yeah, your minister looks at you studiously. Why was it that Farsante spent so little on education? Because the less people know, the more easy they will believe the lies they're told. Teaching someone to read gives them power. Power the dictator didn't want them to have. But to teach the people to read costs money for books, for pencils, for the teachers' salaries. Such an expense is a necessary investment in our nation's future. All right. Sure. Increase funding. Well done, Presidente. In the long term, education is the best investment a nation can make. I agree. The children of our children will remember. Yeah, if I can keep them alive. Yeah. When the crosses we bear, yeah, we've heard that one. Okay. Now we need to make money. We need to make a lot of money. So let's see what could help us make money. Corruption. We could try to cut on corruption. That could save some money. The obscenely profitable drug trade has distorted the political situation of many countries in the region. We begin to see its effect here. The US asked that we allow them to extradite an army officer accused of transshipping cocaine. The US is better equipped to deal firmly with criminals with such powerful connection. Okay. Why not? All right, some of them want us to prosecute him here locally in Chimerica, but we've seen our justice system. Like, if he's in the military, he's got friends. They're gonna get him out. In the US, also, we'd like to please the US. We don't. Is this trumping our judicial system? It kind of is. It kind of is trumping our judicial system. But like we're not equipped. Like a drug dealer are super powerful. Like especially cocaine drug dealers. We're not gonna be able to get justice over here. And we really want to appease the US as much as possible. Because we pissed them off pretty badly. Yeah, the hard decisions are real. That's real politics. Well, not politics, but that's real behind the scene politics. That's what leaders have to decide. Like, what do you do? Do you freaking prosecute this guy here, knowing he'll probably get out, or send him to the U.S. and like not trust your own justice system? Like, what kind of a statement does that make? Like that we don't even trust our own justice system. We're gonna let him be extradited. A wise choice, Presidente, very much in keeping with our recommendation. We'll go forward with renewed confidence. Okay. Message from our defense minister. Angered by your decision to allow the extradition of a American citizen, mob destroyed an annex building of the U.S. Embassy today. We've managed to contain the violence. Crap. That's not good. People are burning down the U.S. Embassy. Um, Shall we talk about the control of the army? Not yet. We don't have much problem with that right now. We really want to make money. International relations? That would be good to sort out. Yeah, our citizen just blew up the U.S. Embassy. This is really bad. All right. The international relations. Yeah, let's see if we can't sort that out. The United States has proposed a resolution in the UN calling for an end to the Cuban military presence in Bogota, a one-party state in Africa. Cuba has no business meddling in African affairs. We should support the U.S. position in this matter. So again, it's kind of split between the leftists and the centrists. I mean, we need to appease the U.S. and really, what the hell is Cuba doing meddling in other countries' affairs? Just oh, these decisions are hard. But if I piss off the socialists, then I have no one to turn to. Yeah, I mean, it's the UN, right? It's not gonna do anything. Let's vote for it. Prentice smiles with approval. To cross a river, yeah, we know. Okay. Who could we talk to? Let's go talk to the coffee worker. Coffee's making a lot of money for us. So let's go talk to them. America's chief export, revolved by cotton only since the 1950s, grown in hilly areas, much is still exported as raw beans, though efforts have been made to increase the amount of processing done in country. All right. Espinosa looks unhappy. Presidente, the good Lord has given us land to distribute, but to whom does it go? To people who already have some land, we give more. The many who have no land at all, we give none. Where's the sense in that? That kind of makes sense. So he wants us to give land to people who have no land. But they're not going to be productive. If we give more land to people who already have land and know what they're doing, that's going to be way more productive land. Cooperative owned by the workers. I like the cooperative model though. But no, I think we need to stay the course. We can't just switch down the middle. Need to declare martial law. No, 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 no. We don't want to do that. Look, we haven't pissed off anyone very badly yet. Yeah, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. Sorry. We could talk to the landless laborers. TNC representative. I think that's like an international conglomerate. The bishop? Industrialists. Industries? The cotton cultivators? We do make some money out of cotton. Let's go talk to them. Presidente, how is one supposed to do business these days? A cotton cultivator needs to know how much money will be available so he can plan rationally. But credit from the National Bank is like water from an old well. Sometimes a flood, sometimes not a drop. Usually just a trickle. We never know how much they will give us. Yeah, we want to keep giving money to our key export. We want our money to basically make more money. Okay. Oh, crap. Mothers of the disappeared. Hundreds of women dressed in black again. The Guardia murderers have been released, Mendoza says with indignation. Not one has yet been prosecuted. Is there nobody with the strength and courage to make sure these criminals are punished? These guys... Like, I can arrest them again, but they're just gonna go out again. I gotta toss them in jail. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Let's just arrest them again. We'll give a third chance to our judicial system. Okay. Let's go. Oh, second year of our presidency. Oh, second year start. Harvest season ends, dry season begins. Oh boy. Soldiers armed with submachine guns surround the National Palace. Over the radio, rebels announce a coup d'etat against your government. The telephone rings. Hedged with a hard new boldness, the voice of Antonio Alejos Espinales addresses you. Good day, Presidente. The palace is surrounded. If you cooperate, you will not be harmed. In the courtyard sits a windowless military van, ready to escort you to the airport in exile. We shall say perhaps that you have stepped down because of imminent danger to your health. In the name of the people of Chimerica, I command you to resign. Resign or resist the coup? Hasta la revolución siempre! Resist the coup! Defiantly refusing to give in to the rebels, you prepare for the worst. The worst arrive on cue. Battle rages in the corridors and stairwells of the palace. As troops loyal to you fight the rebels to the last man. A grenade explodes in a nearby office, and the palace begins to burn. Clouds of acrid smoke force your bodyguard to bring you out into the open. A burst of submachine gun fire, and something seems to be wrong with your leg. Suddenly, you're viewing the room from 3 inches above the floor. The noise of battle dies down. A figure steps out of the smoky gloom, tinged with red, as everything now seems to be, weaving through the pile of sprawling bodies, wearing an expression both wary and triumphant. Comes Antonio Aleos Espinales. In the end, all segments of Chimerican society united to overthrow Farcente. 40 years of notorious corruption and repression eventually isolated him internationally as well. When the United States finally cut off all aid to the country, it was clear that the days of dictatorship were numbered. The president that replaced Farcente, destined to last less than 2 years in power, was one Marco Dozero del Azul. At the end of a broad-based junta representing each of the three major political alignments with the support of the vast majority of the Chimerican populace, the new president announced new priorities for the revolutionary government: the protection of its citizens from violent repression, development that aimed first at more equitable distribution of the nation's wealth, improvement of the basic living standard of the rural poor. This suggested that the new government would propose revolutionary reform aimed at the restructuring of Chimerican society to promote the interests of the poor majority. This was in fact what it proceeded to do. In the face of strong opposition from the land-owning elite, the government began programs unprecedented in Chimerican history. One of the first decisions the new government faced was what to do with the vast estate amassed by the dictator and his associates. A policy of privatization was adopted. This primarily benefited the many coffee producers who heretofore had owned barely enough land to be economically viable. An ambitious attempt to address the extremely imbalance between rich and poor with a land reform program in the cotton-producing district met with brutal repression. Thousands of beneficiaries lost their lives through nighttime death squad raids and daytime massacre by uniformed units of the army. The new government seemed unable or unwilling to press charges against the remaining elements of the defeated Farcente Guard. Bodies began to appear once again in various parts of the capital. The Reconciliation Army represented a bold and unprecedented experiment in Latin American affair. Two determined forces that had been shooting at each other almost until the moment Farcente left were asked to merge into one and accept the leadership of officers drawn from both sides. Colonel Horacio Ehrlich Fernandez and Sub-Commander Gabriel Correa Mercado shared the office of Chief of Staff. To everyone's surprise, this situation continued for a considerable length of time, despite growing tensions between the two camps that occasionally erupted into violence. Dozero, resisting advice to take more radical steps, sought to encourage smaller export producers by creating a national marketing board to offer marketing services on equal terms with those offered their larger neighbors by transnational corporations. The lending priorities of the National Bank remained what they had always been, focused exclusively on the large producer of export crops. Though this policy helped retain the confidence of the wealthy elite, the peasants that produced the nation's food were unable to grow enough to feed the growing population. In response to persistent food shortages, the price of basic food were controlled by law. When this led to protests by farmers, the government guaranteed prices paid to them in turn. The resulting subsidy soon grew to be one of the largest drain on an already overburdened treasury. One of the great successes of the new government was in its health care program. Health clinics were established throughout the country, including remote areas where no medical service had ever been available before. Through vaccination campaigns and other public health measures, the incidence of many diseases plummeted, along with the infant mortality rate. A highly promoted adult literacy campaign proved a popular success. New schools were built throughout the country, and while funds lasted, a far greater percentage of students received basic instructions than any previous time in Chimerican history. Dozero paid little attention to calls for infrastructure improvement. The country's transportation, water, electrical, and communication system remained inefficient and out of date where they existed at all. Though one of the chief charges against Farcente had been the widespread official corruption his government allowed, little effort was made to address the problem. In another major break with the Farcente era, union organizing was encouraged, the right to strike guaranteed, and a minimum wage enforced. Though the country continued to face a worsening economy and mounting debt, the IMF and other international financial institutions did what they could to help the nation recover. The decision to accept economic aid from Cuba and the Soviet Union put some strain on Chimerica's relation with the United States, despite the new government's careful refusal to accept military aid from the socialist power. Breaking with tradition, the president insisted that the civilian government should determine what military aid the country received. This offended the traditional element in the army and led to a cutoff of military aid from the USA. Mistrustful of the direction the new government might take, the U.S. offered only limited amount of economic aid in the early years, mainly in the forms of development projects not associated with the government. Although an electoral commission was charged with the delicate task of writing a new constitution and preparing for election years, years of deliberation produced little of consequences. The junta soon splintered into its various factions. Popular support for the president gradually ebbed away. By the time tanks surrounded the national palace demanding the president's ouster, there was little that could be done. The president courageously chose to resist the coup anyway, resulting in a bloody battle that took the life of the first post-Farcente Chimerican leader. The forefront of the rebels, succeeding to the presidency, was a sometime member of the junta named Antonio Alejos Espinales. The new Presidente moved swiftly to consolidate power, reversing many key decisions. So yeah, um, Now, the old army screwed us over. I should have accepted military aid from the USSR. We didn't have the equipment. We just couldn't. So two things I could have done differently: give more power in the army to the socialist side. I didn't touch that. I should have taken more power away from the right side of the army, and maybe taken some military aid from the USSR. But then the USA would have like embargoed us, would have screwed us over. Oh man. Oh, this game is full of hard decisions. Wow. Well, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is, kind of a bit of a one-off. I might play this again as a little, you know, kind of a thing to do in between other games. But yeah, remember, next week I'm going to be playing either Civ 6 or Hearts of Iron 4. You get to steer that decision. Let me know what you'd rather, if you want me to play the new DLC of Hearts of Iron 4, or if you want me to play another game of Civ 6. In any case, if you want to see more of my videos, they're on my YouTube page. There's a link down below. If you want to see me live on Twitch, there's a link in the description where you can come see me. Feel free to come talk to me, leave comments, send me messages. I love chatting with you guys. It makes me happy. I love having this community. That's why I play game live and then I put them on YouTube. And if you have suggestion games, this game was suggested by Jack Notch, and it was a really good game. Thanks a lot, Jack Notch. I'm really glad you suggested this to me because it's a really old but really fun game. And I like old games, Sometimes it's good to just take a step back and you don't need the flashy graphics. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, bye-bye. Hello. Hi and welcome. I've been expecting you. They were just guys on horses with spikes, and they just kept throwing themselves at us, and we kept shooting and shooting, and they wouldn't stop.